Okay, this is how I have this hooked up. This is the open edge on the leading edge of the gate, and I have it hooked into S1, and well, I guess that's an antenna, and it's programmed into relay 1. Come down here. What we should see is if this thing's working, those two R1 and R2 lights are flashing, and that's just the status check. And so my power are right here. I have, let me get a screwdriver and I'll point to them. The power here, the terminal 1, terminal 2, I have the other power, negative, positive, negative. This is relay 1 and 3. 4 is empty. That's going to be a normally closed. Between 1 and 4 is normally closed, and this is where you want to have your other wire hooked up for relay 1. And in this case, relay 1 is our gray right here, and that's our we have that hooked up to our close eyes. And we have it hooked up to the interrupt, so if it hits something, it'll open the gate all the way. If we only had it hooked up to the closed edge, right down here where it says closed edge, it would reverse like 3 seconds and then stop. And the customer didn't want that. He wanted it to reverse all the way, so we've got it instead hooked up to here. Now, the same holds true on our open. I've got that hooked into terminal number 6 and 8. Again, this between 6 and 7 is a normally closed, and that won't work for monitored setup. And you can see that the yellow wires here are hooked up to the open eyes edge. And on this particular model, this is a Liftmaster's CSL24VDC model, and so all of these are monitored. I can use the shadow, I can use the closed eyes edge or the open eyes edge, and all these are monitored. I don't know on some of the other operators as I play with this, I don't know if that's going to be the same for those. The other thing is you've got to turn the power all the way off and cycle it back on. If you plug everything in and the gate operator starts up and those aren't plugged in, then it won't recognize those are monitored. And so on this model, you have to hit these two buttons twice. You hit them once and then again twice, and that'll clear the memory. You unplug the power and unplug the power, this main power, and then turn off the AC power, cycle it all the way through there, plug that back in, and then with those edges hooked up, it'll recognize that they're there. And you'll see if I pull these off, if I pull that off, that lights up and it says, hey, there used to be an edge here, it's not there anymore, so I have a problem. Same thing down here. If I unplug the other one, you can see the open. So those are monitored. Now if anybody disconnects the edge or the batteries die or anything like that, then we'll know about it. The other thing we can do is on my dip switches over here. 3, I think, is a low battery alarm, so we'll probably kick that up. On the second, for the open receiver, I've got it screwed to the post right here. It again is hooked into S1 and the antenna button. S2 will not work from what I can find out. And then the dip switches, 1 is off, 2 is on, and 3 is off. So that's how to hook up a open close setup. Now I programmed the switches. Relay 1, I just held the switch down, and then I went down and pushed the button on the transmitter real quick, and that programmed relay 1. And then if I hit it again, both those lights are off, and that is a good thing. You want both those lights off. Then if I want to program for the open edge, the other transmitter, I just hold this down until the second light's on. That's relay 2. Then I'd go around and I'd push the button on the transmitter. It'd beep once, and then I come back here and kick that out. The 2 beeps means that everything's working right, and the blinks mean that it's status checking and everything's good. And them being off all the time, again, that's a good thing. You don't want them on all the time or nothing works. So that's a little bit about the monitored gate edge setup.